That was supposed to be rulers. Rulers are over there, so if you guys can grab one or two rulers for your group. You're going to want clear ones so that you can actually see through it with our activity that we're about to do. And then you want to head a page for notes or continue from whatever page you had yesterday. How good you guys are doing?
Good morning. Ava Gallo, please come to the office. Ava Gallo to the office, please. Thank you.
Grabbing the wall. Actually, you just need like one or two of those sheets. So if you can't see what's on the board, you can read off the board. So it doesn't matter if you had your math book, as long as you have one that you can see off of. You can borrow one at the back. Alright, I have a question. Actually, my better question is, why is it so hard for us to head our notes? Why do I have to like beg you to do it? I have a lot of people who are sitting out there right now like fighting it. What do we put in our header?
1.14, how big is a million?
1.1.4, and then the topic for the day. So I'll switch these screens so that I can guide you taking notes. Couple people were absent yesterday. There's no video for that because my hard drive bit the dust. So I need to order a new hard drive, and that'll take a couple days to get here. It is the 22nd, right? 23rd. We'll change that in a minute.
So when exactly are you collecting homework? Right. I knew that.
One of the things that will serve you very well at Phoenix is to exercise your powers of observation. I want to make sure everybody saw this. I do not always verbally announce things because you should be observing everything that's right here. You should get in the habit of homework is always right here. What you need for class is always right there, and any other announcements are always right here. So when you come in, make sure you're not just chatting with your partners at your table, but you pay attention to this first. Then homework is always over there. I had a couple people like text me last night and say, well, I was late to class and I never got the homework. It's always there. And ask a friend. Always you can ask your friends. So we are top left box there. We're math 7, right? So if you ever need it, it's over there. And then we should have 114. And actually, we are going to just write proportional relationships to make our life easy. That's fine. And actually, we are going to abbreviate proportional relationships this year with prop rel. If you want to abbreviate in your notes, your homework, anything else, proportional relationships, just prop rel. That pencil sharpener sometimes doesn't work the greatest. You might just keep interacting. I'm not even joking. Or just pop over the gold rings early. So I want you guys to make a prediction. Talk with your group and then write down. And actually, we can write together first. How do I write a million? I know it's 1, but then how many zeros does it get? Anyway. 6, right? You are about to start a unit in... Please write this, by the way. You are about to start a unit in global cultures about big numbers and how there are roughly 7.5 billion people on the world. Billion people. And if we wanted to all take a picture together,
Only 7.5 million?
we could use Los Angeles.
No.
You're going to watch a video. There's 7.5 billion people in the world. Billion.
Seriously?
And if we all wanted to get together and party, actually, if we all wanted to get together and have space to dance, we could still use California. You'll see it in the video in Global Cultures. I just want you guys to be interested. So, talk with your group, make a prediction. How tall would it be? And some, hey, hi. If you want to talk to the whole class, raise your hand. Otherwise, that's kind of my job. Sorry, I went to school for a few years for that. For a few years. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you said
I got tripped up in my words. No, I rode 22 miles last night, and now my throat is really raw because I've been breathing in the air on the trail.
Did you say you ran 22?
I rode 22 miles. So, would it be taller than the school? Would it be taller than your house? Because your house is probably taller than the school. Would it be taller than, I don't know, buildings downtown? Urban downtown? Would it be taller than, like, Mount Everest? That makes a dramatic jump from the buildings downtown. But just talk with each other. How tall do you think it would be? What do you think it would compare to? 1,000,000 pennies. Talk with each other. Ignore it. You're talking with each other. Not right now. Say it to your group.
Okay, first one.
The height of Mount Everest is in the book. The height of Mount Everest is in the book if you want it. Aiden, I need you having the conversation that I asked you to have.
I'm saying Mount Everest is not high. I think it's good. I would think it's high in the building.
I don't know. So in your notes, like, hey, attention real quick. In your notes, when I go to check your notes, this is 123, right, if you're following along in your book. So somewhere, please number this 123 and write down that prediction. Like I think, or if you set it up like me, how tall? I can just say, like taller than my house, maybe I'll say. Taller than my house, but probably, but not as tall as Rhodes Tower. Don't just copy me. I'm just making this up. Rhodes Tower is a really tall building in downtown. Whatever your prediction is, Rhodes Tower is actually 40-ish stories tall, and a story is normally about 10 meters. So I think it's like 400 meters tall, probably-ish. I can look it up. But. Alright, then look up here, and unless you want me to screw up, you kind of quiet. Seriously, Mr. Pearson. Do we think that we could stack 1,000,000 pennies?
It was probably topple over at like
You think you can get to 100?
No, I bet it's gonna fall over.
You know what the issue with stacking pennies is? They're not actually perfectly flat.
Yeah.
Because Abraham Lincoln is a raised imprint. What's on the back of a penny?
Abraham Lincoln.
No.
Lincoln
Monument, thank you very much. Abraham Lincoln's on the front, Lincoln Monument's on the back. There's a myth that if you look really closely, you can see Lincoln in the monument.
Oh yeah, well that's not a myth. It's because I saw him. Every time I get a penny.
Alright. So it was just standing, but now with, I don't know, I put like 5 more on, maybe more than that. Now I got too much weight to deal with. So, here's what we're about to do. One person from your group is going to come up and get a handful of pennies from you. Please don't. Wow. Hearing 1/4 of the directions is probably really effective because your hand size is definitely going to matter. As you all started talking and I was about to continue speaking, please don't grab them off the table. I will give them to you. So when you immediately start talking, it's a waste of time. I also want to read you a children's story, and I'm really good at reading children's stories. Trust me. It goes along with the lesson. It really does. But please can grab a handful of pennies from me. Then, what you're going to do, because I want to be able to release you and then just like let you guys go for like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. What you want to try to do is figure out a strategy for how could we solve for the height of 1,000,000 pennies. We obviously can't stack 1,000,000 pennies, but how could we solve it? Now, because we are intelligent and because we are going to start making the right choices, we are going to use the metric system. So on your rulers, we are using the centimeters or millimeters. Now, hold up. Hey, I just have a couple things, and then I'm going to release you guys to do your own stuff. You want to make a table. Well, once you decide a strategy, you want to make a table, and it's going to be referencing centimeters. But here's the issue. Does my ruler start right where the 0 is? No. So measuring the stack is going to be really hard. You might have to like lay them out as a stack and have a couple people work together. Like whatever your strategy is going to be careful for that gap at the bottom of the ruler. You actually can't just like measure a stack of pennies because the ruler doesn't work right. Cool. Let's dive in. So send up one person, please. Huh? Inches don't start at 0 either. Those are centimeters. Yeah. On the left side of that, MMCU, those are millimeters. And then it's a die. It's sitting right next to one of my dies. I got more. They're on the ground though. You should only need like 20 probably.
I think about 2 centimeters tall.
All right. And I promise I will shut up in just a moment. 24 in your notes is your strategy. So in your notes, 23 was your prediction. 24, and guys, you don't have to write 1 dash. You could just write 24. What's your strategy? What are you going to try? Write it out. Yeah. It is okay.
Never mind, I don't.
That's a dime? Ah, misplaced.
But no, I used to. No. For my
All right, everybody pick up your pencil. Write something in your notes for 24. What are you guys trying? Are you measuring the thickness of 1 penny or 10 pennies? Or are you trying to get to 1 centimeter or 8 cent? Like, what are you trying as a group? Pick up your pencil. Write something for 24. So you don't even have your prediction right here. You had 1,000,000 pennies. So you're not paying attention. In my notes up here, we had 1,000,000 pennies, and then you had to write your prediction item. So if I write it on the board, you should be writing something in your notes. And so after the 1,000,000 pennies, you're supposed to write a prediction. So you think it's 2 stories high, but not as tall as 4 stories. So that's a good prediction. So somewhere between a 2 and a 4-story building. How tall do you think 1,000,000 pennies would be? So you need to write pennies here. Do you remember what we're talking about? Yeah.
I said taller than
Yeah, that's a really wide range. But yeah, that's okay. Please make sure you have something written down for your strategy. Are you trying to figure out how many pennies per something, or how many centimeters per penny, or what are you trying? I had students complaining that the desks aren't flat. That doesn't matter. Actually stacking the pennies is not the best strategy because the zero isn't at the bottom. And attention up here, because I don't actually, like, we shouldn't actually have the table done or anything yet. What are you guys trying? What's your strategy? Somebody. You're still trying to decide your strategy? Okay, Joey's group?
Okay, so our strategy was measuring the
Thickness? Yeah.
Yeah, the thickness of the penny.
Of one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, how'd that work out?
It's good.
How thick is it?
It's 1 centimeter.
It's one?
No, 2. It's 2. I'm confused.
1 centimeter?
Yeah, it's 1 centimeter.
I think you maybe mean 1 millimeter? The little tick marks? The little tick marks are millimeters, and then the big tick marks, see where the big one is and it says 1? That's your centimeter. Kevin's group, what are we trying over here?
I'm not done writing down my strategy.
Well, okay, somebody tell me what you guys are trying. Adrian, Aiden, somebody? Yeah?
Oh.
What are you guys trying?
So what we did, we tried to measure, like face down. How tall.
So you're measuring 1?
Yes, and then we multiplied it by 1,000,000. So we get.
Okay, so measure 1 multiplied by 1,000,000. Okay.
And then we got. What did we get?
How precise is your measurement of 1 penny?
What did we say? We said 1 millimeter exactly.
It's exact. Alana's group, what are you guys doing back there? What's your strategy?
It is exactly.
We are going to try to see how tall 10 pennies is, and then
10?
we're gonna put like a piece of paper on like where the little gap is, and
Okay.
to cover up it, and
Ah.
then put the pennies on it.
So back there, they're measuring 10 pennies. Now, Aiden, I got a question for you guys, your group. And actually, I think Natalie's group over here was measuring 1 penny also. Or I forget, maybe Joey's group. Do you think it's easier to measure 10 pennies where they stop, or measure 1 penny? 10. Wouldn't the stack be like bigger? It'd be easier to be like a higher number. Look, like if I try to measure the thickness of one of those pennies up there. So if I move my ruler, can you tell me actually how thick one of these pennies is? Sorry, that's more square on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's more than a millimeter, actually. Check it out, guys. If I line this up, it's thicker than a millimeter. So my group's trying to measure 1. That's not going to work because it's thicker than a millimeter. It is bigger than 1 millimeter. What about you guys? What's your strategy? I'm going to tell you it's not going to work. It's going to be too hard. It's too hard. So I will tell you what you would need. To measure 1 penny, you would need a special tool called a micrometer, which is a digital measurement tool that will pinch and tell you exactly how thick something is.
Oh,
You don't have one.
you put one of those and it squeezes on it.
Well, it has like 2 little flat parts. Mr. Estes might have a micrometer, but we don't like have any for the class.
Can I show you something?
What? Does it have anything to do with math? Then no, sit down. Aiden, I feel like we're going to have a struggle this year with keeping you on task. So 1 penny doesn't work. If you tried 1 penny, abort. Abort that mission. But instead of 1 penny, the book sets up a table where they have 1 centimeter. And the book actually fills that in. So actually, can you get with me, please? In the notes, label 25, and then set up this quick little T-chart. Remember, T-chart, you just make a giant lowercase t. And we're going to set one thing on one side, the other thing on the other side. Height, we're talking about in centimeters. And we want to talk about 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters. I can stack it 3 centimeters tall. I can get that. 4 centimeters. So here's my challenge to you right now. As a group, can you figure out how many pennies it takes to make 1 centimeter? And if that's, like, if you can't agree, try 2. Make it a little, like, make more of them. Try 2 centimeters. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this. You don't need to do the rest. I just want you to do 1 or 2. And if you want to keep going, that's great. After 5, it jumps to 10 and then 20.
No, if someone said something that's false, I have to sorry.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, you see little Abraham Lincoln in the tiny building.
Found one what? Okay, I should have never said that.
Right
Please
there.
stop looking for Lincoln.
He's there.
Yes, he is there. He's a
Do
little,
it later.
he's a little tiny thing in the middle of the
I did not. I said
And you
said
what's
Okay,
in there.
it is my fault. I'm like, no one's in trouble. Just please stop. Like, we needed to figure out how many pennies it takes to make a centimeter.
I know.
Some of these pennies are thicker than the others.
That's okay. They'll all average out.
I need one. Here's my ruler. Okay, it's true. One and a half, 10 pennies is 1 and a half. So you don't start at the very bottom. You start at the line. I find it's 10 pennies is 1 and a half.
Remember, we're trying to figure out how many pennies can be 1 centimeter.
So it takes
Love it. You would make teacher. How we doing? It's this side. Is your centimeters over here? Actually, this does start at 0. So you could potentially do that. If that actually starts at 0, right from the flattest bottom. How many what do you think? This year, I'm going to be even more. No, you guys disagree. Your notes say 2 different things. Check with each other. But you should check with what you have written. I disagree. So here's why. If I stack 20. Oh, your ruler is broken. So, you have this here in class. There are no other ones over there. So go from 1 to 2. Try to go from 1 to 2. See how that's like just how
It only takes 13 to make
I can add more than that.
It takes 13.
So I can hold it wrong. 1 2 minutes. So how many is that? Yeah, but how many? How we doing? Not good watch.
I see it too.
I'm going to show you guys a strategy up on the board. If you have not yet figured it out, or really, regardless, give me your eyes on the board. If we can't work the vertical stack because the gap, go horizontal. Now, if I go horizontal and I line up my 0, right? I line up my 0. You got super zoom. I need help. Adrian, come here.
Hey, you're taking it.
Grab the mouse. Come here. Grab the mouse. Click the little camera at the bottom middle of my screen. Thank you. Sorry, that was super loud. All right, here we go. Now I don't have to hold it. Let's count this. This looks to perfectly go from there, like my 1, and I lined up at my 0 because I put them horizontally. So split between penny 1 and 2, split between 2 and 3, split, 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 all the way to there. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So what we have is 7 pennies in 1 centimeter. If you do not have that, you need to change whatever you have written. So in your table, for 1 centimeter, we should have 7 pennies. Now, who can tell me, hold up, we gotta do this real quick. Who can tell me how I could go from 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters without stacking any more pennies? Help me with your name because you don't have your 10 out. I don't know, just tell me your name. Brendan. What do we do? Brendan.
You times 7 by how many multiply?
If I want to go from 1 to 2, what do I multiply by?
2.
2. So here I'm going to get, if I want to go from 1 to 3, what do I multiply by? What do I get right here? Please, on your notes, show these arrows on the right and left side. And if you want to write in like the times 3 to show what we're doing, this is a proportional relationship, which means if I multiply on one side, I just multiply on the other side, and I know it's true. Ava.
It's not 7. I did it. We got 8.
It is 7.
It is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That might be a ruler issue because your ruler's a little, like, I'm not quite sure if it starts at 0 or not, so that might have been a ruler issue. But sorry, it is 7. So then 4 would be how many?
28.
28. Notice I can also just keep adding 7, but that only works up until here because then I jump. To go to 10, do I want to start all the way back at 1?
No.
I mean, I could, but I could also. Ooh, careful. I could go from 5 to 10 just by doubling.
What?
Right? Because 10 is double 5. Hey, do you seriously have a question? Or are you just reacting?
I have a question.
Okay. How 5 doubles to get to 10?
Yeah, how did you, like, why did you do that?
So 5 centimeters versus 10 centimeters, my stack would be twice the height. Right? So I would have to make my stack times 2 of what I had here.
But why? Just so you can, like...
Because I'm, instead of stacking taller, I'm doing math instead of trying to make my stack actually go taller. I'm just doing the math to figure it out. So please make sure you have this table and you have these arrows on the side showing us what multiplication did. Guys, when we have our first mastery, it's going to be real evident who's been working with us in class and doing what we do together and who hasn't been, because our mastery is going to be exactly what we've done in class. So please make sure that you're with me. If you have an actual question, raise your hand and ask that question. But some of us are still sorting out, like, just talking, just like, and every time I take a breath, people just start talking. Kevin.
I actually got to 10 centimeters a different way. I just multiplied 7 pennies by 10.
Yeah, so I could go from 1 to 10 by multiplying by 10. Different way to get to the same thing because I'm going to have 70 pennies in that stack. How would I go from 10 to 20? Also, because my screen, I can't see 1 now. Times 2 again, right? So 70 times 2. 140. How do I go from 10 to 100?
Times 10.
Times 10. So over here, 700, right? I need now for you guys to collect all your pennies, have one person bring those up, and get your rulers, and have another person bring your rulers up. That needs to happen in the next 60 seconds so we can read a book. Hurry. Pennies going here. I think it depends on which month. Like, because sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't. Or it might be how old the pen is.
I think it's how old it is, because some of the newer ones you can't see them.
Alright, boys and girls, gather around for story time. If you'd like to sit on the floor, you may scoot up to sit on the floor. Alright, our book today is How Much is a Million by David M. Schwartz. Have you ever wondered just what a million of something looks like? How about a billion? Or a trillion? I used to work with young children. If 1 million kids climbed onto one another's shoulders, they would be taller than the tallest building. Higher than the highest mountain, which is not actually Everest, that is not the highest mountain, and farther up than airplanes can fly. 1 million kids. Not even adults, 1 million kids. If you wanted to count from 1 to 1 million, it would take you about 23 days. If you would like to challenge me, I'll see you in about 3 weeks. If a you're counting, I'm not counting. If a goldfish bowl were big enough to hold 1 million goldfish, it would be large enough to hold a whale. 1 million goldfish essentially equals a whale. Looks like a great word. Presto! 100 tiny stars. If this book had 1 million tiny stars, it would fill 70 pages. So this page, you need 70 of those just to see 1 million stars.
Imagine having to count all of those.
If I need to give you detention, I now know what to do. Have you count stuff?
It would take 3 weeks.
Oh.
If that was an assignment,
No, not really. I mean, if we absolutely have to, we make stuff up. We normally just have you do something. There you have 100,000 stars. What we just looked at was 100,000 stars. That was 7 pages of stars. If we take this 7-page journey 10 times, we will pass 1 million stars. And then kids say, let's do that later. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. How big is a billion? Right? There are 7.5 billion people in the world. If a billion kids made a human tower, how does a billion compare to a million? How do we go from 1 million to a billion? Adrian? Not times 10. Not times 100. Times 1,000. A billion is 1,000 millions. So, these billion kids would stand up past the moon. If you sat down to count from 1 to 1 billion, you would be counting for 95 years. From from 1 to 1 billion, if you counted your way, it would be 95 years. If you found a goldfish bowl large enough to hold 1 billion goldfish, it would be as big as a stadium. If this book had 1 billion tiny stars, its pages, spread side by side, would stretch almost 10 miles.
Are they gonna do that?
Oh my god, for sure.
How tremendous is a trillion? How's a trillion compared to 1 billion?
1,000
Times 1,000. Every place that, like, every name change on the illions is 1,000 times bigger. So if 1 trillion kids stood on top of each other, yeah, now the dude on the bottom is totally hurting. They would reach way, way, way beyond the moon, beyond Mars and beyond Jupiter too, and almost as far as Saturn's ring. If you would count, hey, hold on, we're almost out of time. If you wanted to count to 1 trillion, it would take you almost 200,000 years.
Good morning, Satya Maricula. Please stop by the office.
If you could put 1 trillion goldfish into a goldfish bowl, the bowl would have to be as big as a city harbor. If you put 1 trillion of our stars onto a gigantic roll of paper, it would stretch all the way from New York to New Zealand. And that is our story time. Have a great day, guys. Homework check tomorrow.
That's what I need
They have all the math up here, too.
I think that
Million what? Is it quadrillion next? Yeah, it's trillion, quadrillion, 3 trillion. How many zeros does million have?
I don't know, but it's equal to owning a planet made out of diamonds. Because you have to do keep exercise.
But in CC3, we have some stuff to do. Grab a seat where you're supposed to. We'll talk about that in a moment. Just grab a seat. If you have the question, your classmates probably have.